Thank you, Tapan, for doing this. Really means a lot to me and our Yudi Squad community. I call it Yudi Squad. I don't know if you know that or not, but thank you for being here. I find it super interesting that we both were in the same college in bachelor's and we didn't know each other. Obviously, I was a very shy kid, so I that's probably why I wasn't like out there in DJ Sangvi. So, but thank you so much for sharing your journey. I'm very excited, interested, curious to know your journey because you started from Mumbai to USA to UK. It's gonna be interesting to see what how all of it happened.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me. And also, like, you have a new member for UD Squad now.
Thank
after
you.
after you came to a podcast, I've been binging on your channel a lot. So, like,
Same,
you,
same,
yeah, you
yeah,
have a
yeah.
new member.
Now it's
Yeah, but DJ also, yeah, even I was like not out there. I was in the committee, but like I wasn't like external committee. I was the guy behind the scenes. I used to do a lot of Photoshop, so I was in the creative team. I used to
mm,
do the banners and stuff, so I will be sitting in the library just on my laptop doing my thing. So
nice,
so
nice.
that's why maybe, yeah. And I was really surprised when when we were like looking for guests to come on the podcast, and like we found your profile, and I was like, oh my god, I've never seen this guy. Like, oh my, and he has such a big following. What's happening? So yeah, we were
Good.
excited to talk to you as well.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And for people who don't know Tapan and like we studied together, but they also have two podcasts. Tapan runs two podcasts. One is called What the Head, the pillow behind him, and right, nice placement.
Always be marketing.
Yeah, and another podcast is called Cold Brew, which is my favorite one. I love that. I've been listening to it since we started talking. So if you are interested, definitely go check it out. But Tapan, let's do a quick intro for people who don't know you. Like, where are you from? What do you do right now? All fun stuff about you.
Yeah, sure. So, name is Tapan Desai. I live in London right now. I am born and bred in Mumbai. I did my undergrad in IT and then decided to do my master's as most engineers. And then I went to the US, studied there. And then I had to leave the country. I think we'll get to that part, but I had to come back to, I had to move somewhere. So I decided to move to London. And then I've been living here for the past 4 months at this point. And I work for a big four firm, PwC, and I'm working as a digital auditor in the risk and controls department. We'll discuss that as well, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And apart from that, I have a lot of interest outside of work. So I work for, like, I have my own two podcasts that Yudi talked about. I have a blog. I write a newsletter on a monthly basis. I do some Instagram marketing, but that's about it. That's a short intro. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. And we have a lot to cover. I know before offline, we were telling like maybe this will be 20 minutes podcast, but now that you said this whole thing in the intro, I was like, I don't think it might be 20. I think it might go over 20 minutes. But okay, let's do this. When did you come to United States?
Yeah, so I came to USA in 2014, right after graduation from DJ. So I was in the 2010 2014 batch,
Okay.
right, in undergrad. And then after undergrad in 2013, I decided that I want to pursue masters. There were multiple reasons that I could think of. Like, one was I did not like programming. I just did not like programming. I wasn't good at it, and I wasn't interested in it. Like, all my friends, they were developing something in their free time. I didn't even understand bubble sort. Like, I had to
Yeah.
rectify it, like, basically. So I realized that's not my cup of tea. So I had to switch. And then my sister, she was in the US. So she was telling me about her life. She used to live in New York. She studied in NYIT. So she used to tell me about her life. And I was like fascinated. I just wanted to go to the US as well.
Hmm.
And then third, like, most of my friends were giving GRE. So like under peer pressure, I was like, India mein kya karenge, right? So those were the reasons I decided to pursue masters. And then like I was like lucky enough that my dad, like he was supporting me. He was like, don't worry, financially and stuff like that, you can pursue your masters, it should be okay. So
Hmm.
based on that, I decided I'll just do my
So
masters, right?
no work experience like directly after
Yeah.
bachelor's. Okay.
Yeah, and I talked to a lot of people, like cousins and stuff like that, and they were like, if you are sure that you don't want to do programming, so why take a job in India? Because in India, campus placements were basically programming related,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And second, they were like, if you're sure you want to come to US, like why wait again?
Hmm.
Because if you are, and this is what they told me, that if you're waiting and gaining like 2 years of experience, that won't be relevant when you come to the US. If
Hmm.
you're switching your field, because if you are a developer for 2 years in India and here after that you decide I want to do on something on the business side, your experience is not relevant. So you'll start again. So why waste those 2 years?
Hmm.
So I heard
Yeah.
that and I was like, that makes some sense. So I might just go for my
Yeah,
master's.
yeah, but I think even I mean right now I've been advising a lot of students. So I think if even if you took my philosophy is that if you take years of experience, whatever that is, 1 year, 2 years, as long as you are taking that to learn something and to understand the industry, that's still valuable versus just taking it so that you can put it in your resume. That becomes irrelevant. So I feel like even if you were a developer and now want to be business analyst or consultant, I think it still helps in a way because you understand the software development. In fact, that becomes your strength when you're pitching to the companies that, hey, I understand because I've been a developer. So but yeah, that's awesome. I For me it was like I told you in your podcast that I I graduated 1 year before, 2013, and I know that in DJ Sangu this is this thing where everybody is like giving GRE
Yeah.
TOEFL, and I wasn't interested because I knew there's no way I'm going to do masters. I don't have money at all.
Yeah.
So for me, I was like very excited to be in the placement, and Capgemini was the first one that was coming to our campus, and I got it, and then I was like, if I don't take it, I'm taking a chance of sitting in other placement, and what if I don't get in any other? So
Right.
because of that fear, I just decided I'll go with Capgemini. But obviously, I decided later that we are just getting 22,000 rupees versus people over here make way too much money, and the value of your skill is way like over here people value your skill a lot.
100%. Like I even I sat for placement. I got into TCS. Like that was the only
Yeah.
placement I sat for because at that time I didn't have a admit or something like that. That was the reason I sat for the placement. But yeah, I looked at the package and I was like, there is like I'm not spending my time here. Like I need to get up. Like as soon as I get an admit, I'm just leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah, and coming back to your point, yeah, like the part where you said like experience is relevant. So like after I talked to my relatives, right? When I went to the US, that's when I realized, okay, like experience would have counted. There are pros and cons, right?
Yeah.
But like I on so many internship interviews, I had my colleagues, not colleagues, my classmates who were interviewing for the same role, and just because they had relevant experience they were
Yeah.
getting the job compared to
Yeah.
me. So that's one thing that I observed after I like went for my
Came here.
masters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But again, I don't want to discourage other students. If you don't have experience, it's okay because I only had
Yeah.
6 months. He had no experience. And there are many other of my friends, and on our podcast, you've seen people who don't have experience still got a job at, big firms. So
Yeah.
awesome. So how was it? I want to know this because I think you and I will understand this more because we both come from the same university in India. What masters did you do?
Yeah. So as I said, I wasn't interested in computer science. So the other best option that people with IT background have is information systems. And it's not the other alternative, but it suited what I wanted to do. I love technology. I wanted to stay close to technology, but I did not want to develop technology.
Yeah.
I wanted to help others understand technology, and I
Hmm.
wanted to be close to technology. So that was my goal from the beginning.
Yeah,
So
so I want to just quickly say this: majority of my audience falls under this same category, that
yeah,
they somehow decided to do computer science or computer technology or IT in their bachelor's, just like how we did, and then they realized that programming is not their thing. Same thing for me. Programming was not my thing. I realized it when I came here, actually, not before, because I was like, "Arey, ho jayega," like, because I did some 6 months of experience in Cap Gemini, right? So I was like, it's not that hard, like, but the intensity of programming is way too different from in India than over here. So that's when I was like, nope, this is not something I can do, like sit 8 hours and code. So yeah, so I'm glad that you fall under into my majority of audience. So they're gonna love your experience. Go ahead.
but like, yeah, going back to master's program, so information management. I wanted to do information systems, and then I started looking at colleges which have similar programs. So Syracuse University came under my radar. It has a program called information management, which was like top ranked at that time in 2014. The
Hmm.
only college above that was Kelly School of Business and Indiana University, which was number one.
Yeah.
And then I also looked at other colleges. I applied for them as well, like Northeastern University, Rutgers University. But then when you research the program, I realized Northeastern had programming in it,
Hmm.
whereas like Syracuse there was no programming. There was data science in Syracuse program, like you had to use R and all that to
Yeah.
understand data and visualization. I did not have an issue with data science. I had issue with programming. And Syracuse University had a nice blend of business courses with technology courses. So like
Hmm.
business courses in terms of like business analyst courses, project management, financial risk and analysis. So all those courses like started interesting me. So I was like, okay, if I get an admit from Syracuse, I'll just go there. And then I applied to Kelly as well. I did not get an admit from Kelly, but Syracuse I got, and I was like, okay, done. I'm
Yeah.
going there. It's final. And funny part was like four of my other friends from DJ also got Syracuse University. So we were like a batch of five people just going to the university. So that was good.
Nice. Yeah, nice. And what was your experience like? Did you find the course like educational, cultural experience? Was it different from India?
100%. Like there is no denying that it is so much different. Like I did not have exams.
Hmm.
I All of my finals were project based. So you are just working with your team members to develop a project using things that you have learned during the course, which is like great use of application based learning. Then like even work papers, like in Mumbai, like in DJ Sangvi, I never enjoyed, like it was just Xerox wale ke paas jao, copy paste and done. Like those were the assignments. Here
Yeah,
I was, because first of all that law, like rule that you cannot copy stuff in US,
plagiarism. Yeah,
plagiarism, right? So I literally, like I took time to think about stuff, like start documenting, writing, and like creating my own thought process with research, because you have to cite and everything, right? Like citation is
yes,
a thing here.
yeah,
So all those experiences, like that was great for application based learning. Like you are actually putting thought into what you are reading, what you're trying to do, like learn, research, all that stuff. So that was the curriculum part. Extra curriculum, like outside of college, like in Syracuse, my experience was I did a lot of job applications and internship applications. And I did some extracurricular activity, which I think I should have done more, because I've heard stories of people getting married because of extracurricular activities. That's what I'm saying, right? So I should have participated more, but I was very short term focused when I was in Syracuse,
Hmm.
which I realize now. Like I wasn't playing the long term game. I was like कि अभी जॉब चाहिए 2 साल है, like अभी internship चाहिए,
Right.
सबको internship मिल गया, I want something
Yeah.
like that. So I was playing that game. Okay, if I'm doing some extracurricular, how does it affect my resume? Like in short term, what benefits do I get? If I don't get any benefits, I won't do that.
Yeah,
So I was
you just said something which is so close to my heart, and I scream that in my videos. If people have seen my videos, they know what I'm going to talk about. Is like, yes, people don't get involved, and they come with super short mindset, like, कि आना है मेरे को इधर job चाहिए. Like, that's the, like, they come, they, finish their courses, they go to college, take their class assignments, homework. Same thing, repeat until they get a job, and then they are done with the job. So I 100% agree. I feel there's so much more, at least US universities has to offer. Like, there's so many events happening. You can meet so many cool people. I've met so many people. I've met my wife through that. That's what you were referring to, I know that. But
yeah.
also I've met like so many cool entrepreneurs, and I went to a lot of business events. I got to go to Deloitte's this competition through, because I was involved on campus. So that's, I highly recommend for people who are watching this, is like, don't do what, don't like be so focused on coming here and you have to get a job. Of course that is your goal, but think big, like Tapan was saying. So
Yeah, and I also like I was 21 years old when I joined, so I don't blame anyone. But like now that I know and I can think back, like one of the biggest reason I think most people do it is because your visa. I think that's
yeah.
the biggest issue in US. Like though if you don't get a job in 2 years, like what will you do with your visa? You'll have to leave the country. That's the biggest pressure. And then also in these universities, you see your colleagues. Like I was in a university town, right?
Yeah.
So like if anyone got a job, like the entire college will know that this guy or girl has got a job. So that creates such a tremendous pressure on you
Mm,
because like others are getting placed, right, and you are not getting placed.
mm.
And like as a 21-year-old, your mindset is like, Mirko, like why am I not getting? Like everyone is getting. Like I
Yeah,
had
the
that mindset, right?
comparison trap. The
Yeah,
comparison
yeah,
trap. Yeah.
that was never good. But then uh I was able to explore a lot more because of things that didn't work out for me. So like obstacle is the way, right? That the one of the books by Ryan Holiday, right? Like what stands in your way will become the way. So if for internship, for example, right? I interviewed, like I went till last round for 18 companies, 1-8.
Mm,
So
mm.
I cracked interviews for 18 companies and I was going till the last round. I did not get any. Like none of the
Wow.
big companies I never, like I
And
did not get
what
placed.
what role were you applying for?
I was,
Consultant.
yeah, that was another mistake. Yeah, I was applying for everything I could get my hands on.
Mm,
I literally I had an Excel file of like 300, 400 companies that I had already applied to with links and roles, and like I wasn't focusing on what I want to do. I was like, I have
mm.
created this resume. Like when you go there, people tell you, okay, do teen resume bana, one for business analyst, one for risk management, one for this, and start applying. And I started applying. Like none of my resumes are tailored. I'm not
Mm,
talking to people on LinkedIn. I'm not trying to connect to them. I'm not talking to people who are working for those companies.
yeah.
I'm not researching on the company. I'm just
Yeah.
applying blindly. And if I'm getting a
Yes.
call, then I will start researching. So
Yeah.
I went for the width instead of like going narrow on
Yeah.
focusing on 10 companies and like doing your best on those 10 companies. I think that's a better approach compared to going wide, right? That's
Yeah.
that's my philosophy now.
No, no, I 100%, because the reason I was smiling is like, I've said these things and I just feel so much better when someone else also say the same thing, because now we've gone through this experience,
Yeah.
right? And you can speak, because that's exactly, I've said, like, talk when people say that, oh, my friends are not getting job, or I'm not getting job, and people in the students who are in India, they get information from these other people who haven't got the job. I ask them, like, okay, have they talked to people on LinkedIn? Have they networked? Like, what have they done so far, that why are they not, like, understand why they are not getting a job, versus thinking so that, oh, they are not getting job, that means that college is bad or that course is bad. So I 100% agree, and I'm so glad that you are open, and it takes courage to talk about like the mistakes you've done, and that helps others, like, okay, I want to make sure that I don't do the same thing which you've done, And I'm glad, like, people, I'm 100% sure people are gonna reach out to me and you and tell you that thank you for sharing these mistakes, because now we won't make these mistakes.
Yeah, 100%. And like it's no, there is one more quote, Naval Ravikant, he says it's not about
Yeah.
putting 10,000 hours, it's putting 10,000 iterations. So doing the same
Oh,
thing
nice.
10,000 times rather than like putting 10,000 hours. So my
Isn't
resume,
the Bruce Lee? I think Bruce Lee also said something similar. Like, I'm not afraid of a person who knows 10,000 kicks. I'm afraid of the person who has
yeah,
practiced one kick for 10,000 times, or
yeah,
something like that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like when you're doing, like when you're applying to so many companies, it's like you are putting in the time, okay, you are doing hard work, but is your hard work, it's not going to give you result, like it's not going to be result worthy, right? You need to focus on what you want to do, and like why, first of all, why are you doing that, what is the end result, and the company that you're applying to, does it fit you, like that's one. And then one more mistake, like biggest mistake that I made was I went okay, course le liya, I'm doing my course side pe, like I kept applying ye wo. People don't care about what you know, people care
Mm.
about what you can do for them. So when you're
Yes.
going to a company, like
Yes.
tell them that this is my knowledge and I have done this, instead of
Mm.
just saying this is my knowledge.
And
Like,
what
and
I
that
can
was,
do for them, what you
yeah,
can do for
yeah,
them. Yeah.
yeah, no one cares. Like a lot of people know what you know, like what, like it's common among everyone, but like what can you do for you them, like you need to
Right.
portray that. I
Yeah.
did not portray that. I did not have any good projects. I did not have any good things to show. Like my portfolio wasn't there.
Mm.
I got an internship afterwards, but again, like it did not translate well into my resume. I think that was one of my biggest mistake. Like I had the skills, I was doing things outside, but I wasn't showing that on my resume into a transferable skill set.
Mm.
So
Can we talk about how can someone show that? Like, let's say someone exactly like you who's now joining Syracuse and doing the same program. What would you recommend them to put it in resume? How would you ask them to approach this if you have to
right,
go back like 5 years?
right. So first of all, if I had to go back 5 years, okay. So first of all, there is internet right now. So if you have any courses, like use that knowledge that you've already gained and create projects, like having for example, now I'm a blogger, so I can only think about blogs, right? So like if you are able to write things on your blog, right, about what you've learned in
Mm.
a clear, concise manner, like
Yeah.
show that okay, this is my thought process, this is how things are working, this
Yeah.
is what I've learned, and these are the applications of what I've learned, right?
Yeah,
uh
and for, because you mentioned it in perspective of bloggers, I want to address the students who are not bloggers. You LinkedIn, man, LinkedIn is the space where you can write articles for. I mean, you can either write an article or you can make posts. So if you learned something amazing, you made a project, write it down and put a link for people to see that.
I mean, you can at this point upload everywhere and anywhere. Like Twitter, I've seen so many threads that are so
Yeah,
knowledgeable. Like
yeah,
they link to tremendous articles, they have done
yeah,
research, and it's on Twitter.
yeah.
Like, so you just need to put it out there. That's one thing. The second thing is in terms of transferable skills was leadership. Like I was showing
Mm.
leadership a lot in I had participated during Syracuse. I had worked on some side projects to help there was this organization called Nanni Kali, so we had participated in like those Diwali events and stuff like
Yeah.
that, but I wasn't transferring that, like okay, I've done this was what happened
Mm.
because of what I did, like by volunteering for this.
Mm.
I wasn't putting that on my resume.
Yeah, yeah, because people are so focused in putting all the skill section. वो skill section पूरा भर दो कि भाई, I know this, I know R programming, I know
Yeah,
Python, I know this. But how did you use that R programming to make something? So yeah, totally. That's
right.
awesome, man. But I
Tableau
have to
dashboards. So many of my classmates,
yeah. Sorry, I was just saying I have to say that this is one of my best podcasts I've shot because
Oh, okay.
yeah, because I sent you like a kind of list of questions or
Yeah.
like an outline, and we are going so off track. Like we are this like
Yeah, yeah.
the super off track, but
I'm sorry about
oh,
that.
you're fine. But I love it because it's so much more raw. There's like
Yeah.
and we are speaking through our experiences, and so that's why I feel like this is one of the best podcasts. I really hope that people listen through this whole thing. They'll get so much out of it. Anyway, continue. I keep stopping you because I feel like I have to add this thing to you.
No,
But
no,
yeah.
no, it's fine. One more thing, like a lot of my classmates did was I forgot the name of that application where you get data sets and you do the analysis
Oh
and
yeah,
you
yeah,
get
yeah. It's a Power BI. Like
Power
you
BI is the tool, but there
Tableau.
is one more.
I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the name of the website where
Yeah,
people
so a
can.
lot of
Yeah.
my classmates had project. They downloaded data sets, they did their analysis, they created dashboards without anyone telling them, and they
Hmm.
just built it. But they had that to show on their resume.
Hmm. Yeah.
I at the same time I did not have any projects. What I was showing on my resume were like my final projects, like the projects that were given as part of my coursework. So there was nothing to add on top of that, like
Hmm.
outside of my curriculum, that okay, I'm genuinely interested and this is what I can show.
Yeah. Yeah. So you applied and you had we were talking about 18 companies you had
Yeah,
interviewed.
internship, right. Yeah, internship. So
Right.
going back to that, so I applied to 18, I applied to 400, 500 companies. I got 18 calls. I did not get any of the jobs. And then after that, I started researching within college, like, hey, what can I do in the college? And then I found this amazing initiative in this college called Tech Garden, that is in Syracuse,
Hmm.
which is like I don't know if still it still exists, but at that time it had like 40 startups in Syracuse,
Hmm.
and in like those startups were based in Syracuse, and they were doing like some tremendous work. So I just started going through all the companies in that Tech Garden thing, and then I started cold emailing all the companies,
Yeah.
like, "Hey, I am available. I can do this." And at this point, I did not care about like salary and all that. Initially, you start with salary, but
And
now I
and
just
when
wanted
were
experience.
like when was this like what like was this your
Oh, it's
third
no,
semester
no, no.
or
This is internship. So second semester end, like, so
okay.
everyone goes on internships
Yeah,
in
yeah.
June.
In
I
come
think June
right.
internship starts, right?
Yeah.
And I did not have an internship until April, May.
Hmm.
So I started doing this, and then I emailed like 40 companies, and like when you're emailing startups, you're just directly emailing their HR or the CEO. It's either
Hmm.
or.
Yeah.
So one of the companies, again, this is obstacle is the way, like it turned out to be best experience that I've ever had. But so one of the companies, it's called TCG Player.
Hmm.
TCG means trading card games. I did not know it was a thing, but apparently trading cards like Pokemon cards, Magic the
Yeah.
Gathering
Yeah.
cards, that's a big industry.
Yes. Yes.
So
Even the
this
trading like basketball players and football players. Yeah.
Yeah, cards of the, yeah, 100%, and then the sneakers as well. So this company, so this I emailed this guy, and he turned out to be the CEO of the company, and he was like, "Hey, you, like, if you're interested, we can call you in, you that this that." So I went for the interview. The interview was the weirdest interview that I've sat on. Like the questions they were asking were like, if you had a superpower, what would it be? And then like
Oh
all
wow.
fun. And, yeah, yeah. And then I looked at the. It was one floor. They had 75 employees, something like that. So it was one floor.
And
They
that was a
had nerf.
startup.
Yeah, it was a startup with 75.
Wow.
They were
So, matlab,
growing quickly.
yeah, definitely because the startup is like ten
510,
people.
yeah, yeah. But
So,
because it was that trading card, and the main issue was, so actual work was being done by 20 people.
mm,
Rest of them were warehouse guys,
mm,
because those cards they that come in, they have to do quality check and stuff like that, and then ship those cards out, all that. So there was a huge warehouse team. So I interviewed and I saw the campus. They had Nerf guns, and like it was so much fun, and I absolutely loved it. And they were like, we can hire you. We are extending this position, but you won't do like business analyst. I applied for business analyst saying I
Yeah.
want to do the. He was well, like, I want you to be the marketing research analyst. So I was like, what does that mean? So he was like, we are trying to, because I had no idea, right? So he was like, we are trying to diversify and different segments. So I just want you to do research on like those things. I
Hmm.
will tell you my end goal,
Hmm.
but I won't tell you how to do it because even I don't know it.
Hmm.
So that was, and I was like, okay, cool. Like I have no idea how to do it, but it was the best experience I've had. Like I was working directly under the CEO. So every week the CEO would come and tell us like, okay, where are you with the project? Like what's happening? What did you decide? Which tool I had to decide on which tool to do research with. How do I document it? How do I
Hmm.
retain that knowledge? And then how do I transfer that knowledge? All of that was up to me. Best experience. And then that CEO also started like encouraging me to read more, so that's how I got into a reading habit, which I'm still continuing, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So best experience I had. I lived in Syracuse. I did not earn much. I
Yeah.
had like my campus placement was paying more than that internship.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like genuinely like one of the best experiences. And when it came to my full-time interview, because I had done everything from scratch on that project, I was able to say so much more because of that internship experience,
Hmm.
just
So
because I
what
had
what
done everything.
what basically did you do like after you experienced that? How long did you work there?
It was a 3 month, and then because I was in Syracuse, they extended it to a co-op. So they
Yeah.
were like, you can do it till the time your time at Syracuse ends, and then they extended me a full-time job as well.
Okay.
But I did not want to live in Syracuse, so I had to move out. And then the co-op also didn't work out because of some immigration issues that I faced.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, it was supposed to go on
Like
for another year.
what immigration issue?
Uh, so the tech garden thing I was talking about, right? So what happened was, because it was part of the campus, they told me not to apply for CPT
Okay.
because you're working for campus, so you're not applying for CPT.
Right.
Because when you apply on campus job, you don't have to do it, right? Like you don't apply for CPT. But
Yeah.
when you're working outside of campus, you apply for CPT. Tech garden was
Correct.
part of the campus
Campus.
ka
Okay.
initiative. So they told me not to apply for CPT.
Hmm.
And
I
then
I
like
see
out
where
of
you're
the
going.
30, yeah, out of the, I think we might have to cut it, but I'm not sure. Out of the 32 companies, 31 companies were part of the campus. One
Okay.
company wasn't part of the campus initiative.
And this was
Turns
that.
out, yeah, turns out that it was
Oh,
my company.
oh boy.
So
Okay.
like we realized this 2 months into the internship. And
Hmm.
then I went to Slutsker. I was like, hey, like what should I do like about this? And they were like, sorry, it was a mistake on our part. We didn't realize this is what is happening, this, that. So you can't accept co-op, but like whatever has been done, it has been done. We can't do anything.
Yeah.
So that was the reason I did not take the co-op.
Got it. Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Well, I don't know. Like, if you are comfortable, I'll probably keep it because I want people to not make the same mistake,
Yeah.
or at least do the
Yeah.
research. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. So you finish your research. Then what? Like full time. So what happened, and how did you move from
Yeah,
Syracuse to
full
UK?
time. Syracuse to UK. Oh God, like we are still on internship part. Yeah. So
Oh,
after that, I was done with internship. Like I failed so badly, not getting a good internship. So I started in the summer when people were interning. I was sitting in the library, updating my resume and stuff for the campus placement that was coming. I changed my resume a lot. I started putting those transferable skills, like my internship experience now came in, all those projects.
hmm.
So I did that, and then I got a call from only one company on campus, PwC.
Yeah.
So the job was in New York City. So I applied with PwC New York, and they had 3 rounds of interviews. All three are behavioral. So PwC, the way it
Yeah.
works is they hire for the people. They don't like they look at your skills, but it's mostly based on people. How do you communicate with other people?
Yeah.
How are you good at talking with them? Like, how do you fit into the company rather than like them trying to do it afterwards? Like, they can
Right.
teach you all the skills that you want, but they
Right.
want you as a person to fit into the culture.
Correct.
So
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, because
all,
entirely the whole PwC model is consulting model, right? Like, so you
yeah,
will always be client facing. So you're not really working for PwC. You are always working for a client because, and that's
yeah,
where that's most important to them. That if our employee is representing to a client, they, we need to make sure that he has all those things which we want in the person.
right, yeah. So yeah, and there's a saying that if you like when you're applying for a big four company, right, think about the way, if you find that person at an
Yeah.
airport, will you be able to spend 3 hours before a flight with that person?
Mm.
So that's how they like
That's right.
look
That's
at.
Yeah, that's right. So I remember this because one of my best friend Neville, he's actually in PwC right now. He's reaching manager level, I think.
Yeah,
So he's in Bay Area, and he told me the same, very exact same thing. What you said, like, can you spend 3 hours on the airport or flights? Or so that's so interesting.
yeah, and then technology wise they train you a lot. So I applied for the risk and controls role. I don't know if you know about digital auditing, but we support the traditional auditors like CAs.
Hmm.
They do the balance sheet and income statement, right? But now everything is on technology, like they are using softwares to do that. So we go in and audit that software, like the ERP systems and the applications.
Yeah. So are you one of those person who irritates the development team? Like,
Yes,
how do you do code
100%.
review? How do you do the scrum process? How do you
Yes.
sign
How is
off?
your change? Who has access to your change tickets? How do you create change tickets? Who approves your change
Oh.
tickets? I am that guy. Yes.
I say that because I'm the responsible for R&D team in my company,
Yeah.
and those auditors we have Deloitte, I think, as our
Yeah.
auditors. So they help us with all this thing, and they, oh my god, they like ask me so many things, like,
Yeah.
and take a screenshot, take a this,
Take
this.
a screenshot. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, so we do that because it's like one of the reasons is especially in public companies. I don't know if your company is public,
It
but
is public, yeah.
yeah, so it's a SOX requirement, Sarbanes-Oxley requirement, which is a
SOC 2
law by.
compliant, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a law. So SOC 2 is a different report, but SOX is like Sarbanes-Oxley, which is like a government requirement where
Hmm.
a third party company needs to come and audit your controls and assess
Hmm.
their risk. So that's why we do it. SOC 2 is your company's software might be being used by some other companies or something like that.
Correct. That so we that's
So
our model.
because I'm using your company software, how am I sure that your software is secure enough? No, there are
For
no
someone
privacy
else to
issues,
use
and
it.
yeah,
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 got
there
it.
are no privacy issues and stuff. So that's why you have a software report. But yeah, so I look at security, access controls, change controls, privacy controls, stuff like that.
I know all about it.
So again, going back to New York, I got that job in PwC. I worked there for 3 years. It was super. New York culture is super stressful, but
Is it?
yeah, yeah, it is. Like I used to work weekends for like 3 4 months, and then we were working
Wow.
12 to 14 hours a week. But now
I
I
mean,
have
is it
started.
like New York or is it PwC?
No, no, no. It's New York.
New York
So
thing.
as in
Okay.
like it's PwC New York, but I think Deloitte New York, EY New York, all of those companies are same.
Like, yeah.
Uh,
Okay. It's very competitive. Everybody basically works long
and it's a
hours.
lot of work, and staff keeps rotating and stuff like that. But now at this point, I have started telling everyone that when you start your career, you need to start at a high paced company like a big four. One sec.
Hmm.
Yeah, you need to start working for a big four, or else a bank or something like that. And
Yeah.
I've started telling this because the growth curve, when you do that, it just like it grows exponentially. Like you as a person grow exponential, and that has same thing has happened to me. And I've seen a lot of people who started with me. You gain so much confidence because you're always thrown into shit and you have to figure things out. And because you start doing that on your own, you develop so fast. So
Even in PwC, even in big fours.
as in
Like I thought like big fours are like big companies, right? So you don't get like some like major role like
but then when you go at a client level, that client has a team of 5-10 people.
hmm.
So you are basically working in a startup, I
Oh,
guess.
gotcha. Okay. So for that particular project, whichever you were assigned to,
Yeah. So you
you're
are
doing it.
meeting deadlines, you're talking to clients. I am telling you, I was such a shy kid, but at this point, after 4 years in PwC, like right now we are having this conversation because of my experience.
Mhm.
I'm able to pick up the phone and talk to any random person anywhere in the world because I have gained that level of like confidence. Because in
Yeah.
PwC, you talk to like CFOs and like ex VPs and EVPs all the time. And then like you're gaining experience, you're learning from them. And because you're
Mm.
talking constantly, you are able, there are so many other skills like documentation. I know how to write a proper email, like a, what do you call a good email, professional email.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are
Yeah.
some of the skills that you will never learn otherwise, but like
Right.
you
Yeah.
just excel, oh my god, it is so under it is one of the
Underrated.
most
Yeah.
underrated softwares ever. Like excel is so important, no one, like
I
I don't know
know.
why.
I know how much Excel auditors love Excel because I get so many
Yeah,
of them.
I use excel for my budgeting now. Like everything is on
Yeah.
excel. Like I cannot function without excel like sheets.
Yeah.
So that I gained because of PwC. Yeah, so that was PwC New York 3 years. And then moving on to your question, how did I land up in UK? The answer
And
is
I just want to say I'm gonna definitely bring you back for another podcast where we'll talk more in detail of job search and thing and risk auditor or digital auditor because I think we touched a little bit, but I don't want to make this episode about that because it's little people need to understand how what is auditing even mean and how the consulting firms work and big four works and things like that and what skills are required. So I don't want to get into. So I'll be bringing you back. I'm pretty sure people would want to learn more about. I want to learn more about it. So I'll bringing you back. But let's focus on I want to know what happened that you had to go to UK.
yeah. The short answer is I was really unlucky. I did not get my H1B.
Hmm.
So I how many I attempted, like I
Three,
got
three,
into the lottery 4 times because I was
four
placed from
times.
because I was placed from campus in October.
Oh,
While I was
so
still studying, I got a lottery on my bachelor's
nice.
degree.
Yeah, that's the bachelor's degree. What do you mean by
Yeah,
bachelor's?
because I did not have my master's then, right?
Oh, right,
Because the
right, right.
lottery is in April,
Yeah. So basically, you graduated in May, but
May.
since you already had a job offer, your PwC already filed one attempt
Yeah,
before even you graduated. That's like the
yeah.
best thing ever.
I did not
Like,
get that.
I know, but it is still a best thing. Like you have,
Yeah. That's one of the reasons you need to score a campus placement soon. I
yeah,
think like it's a very good reason to do that. And
yeah.
then 3 more attempts on the lottery. I did not even get like RFE aata to theek. I did not even get picked for the
Picked,
lottery. Like
oh,
four
that's
attempts.
such a hard luck. Yeah, that's a
Yeah. And then
wow.
you see people who graduated 1 year before and okay, they got picked in the lottery. Oh, they got their H1B. Wow. And like,
So
yeah.
first one
So
was your bachelor's wala because you weren't in that master's pool, and then rest three attempts were you were in that master's pool and the overall pool, and you still didn't get picked for any of them.
yeah.
That is very that sucks. That's hard. Like one of my other best friend Mohit, he was also in the same boat where he didn't get it. So but so what then? Like how did UK happen?
Yeah, so then like it was January 2019, and like there are two options, right? You either move to a different country or else you do the education thing. I forgot what it is called, the getting that degree and
Oh
then
yeah,
you
day
go
one, day
for
one.
Day one
Day one
masters,
sip.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So you do that. I did not want to pay first of all for that. It was like, and it was also I just felt that okay, you paid and you get one attempt on that again. I've already had four attempts. So what if I don't get that as well?
Right,
Like,
right.
should I keep paying that
Yeah,
fees
and
for
and
that
I want
college?
to let audience know what we're talking about. So basically, what he's talking about is like, let's say you graduated, like he said, you will have OPT for 3 years. You applied for H1B, and unfortunately, you did not get in any of that time. After that, there are the option which he's talking about is day one CPT, where you enroll again in another, you get another master's or you get another course, and those colleges will let you do day one CPT, which means you can keep continuing working, but you have to still do the whole master's thing. You still have to do assignments, you still have to give exams and things like that. And while you are studying, because you're also working, you can still, your company can still file for H1B, and hopefully that you will get your picked up. So that way, then you can, stop your master's, or you can complete it if you want to, and then, transfer on H1B. So that's
Yeah,
that's another like a, I
yeah.
don't know if it's a loophole, but it's another way.
Way around, yeah. And as I said, I did not want to, because if I get that I if I do day one CPT and I get one more attempt again, if I don't get picked into the lottery, then do I do one more masters? Like I should, like it is a never ending loop,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So I
and
just did
and
not.
you don't get OPT again. That is another thing.
Yeah, right.
Right. Yeah.
So I just did not want to do that. And then my team at PwC, they were super supportive. They were like, tell us where you want to go. We'll just do like help you connect with the partners there, and like we will
Mm.
support you whatever happens. This is not in your hand, but we can try to do as much we can do. So they gave me options of like Toronto, and then they gave me the option of Sydney, Zurich, London was on the table.
Wow.
So they were like, just tell us and we'll connect with you to the partners. You talk to the partners if you like the role. And then my director, like she's and like one of the pillars of like how I was lucky enough to get mentors at every stage which were helping me throughout my journey. So
Mm.
she was one of them. She I was like, okay, I'll go to Toronto. Everyone is going to Toronto. She was like, why do you want to go to Toronto? It's like the experience that you will get there won't be worth it. Just try for London. I
Mm.
can put you in touch with the partners. But now the thing is, like, even if you're in the same firm, if you're moving the way PwC is, it's a network of firm.
Yeah.
So even though I've worked for PwC US, PwC UK is separate entity. So I
Mm.
still have to interview and stuff.
Mm.
So I interviewed for PwC UK. They liked my profile. I talked to the partner. I liked the job they were doing. I tried switching from audit. So I was in audit. I wanted to move towards consulting more.
Mm.
Like auditing is you're working as an auditor basically, but consulting you are implementing the things that you're telling them. Auditors can't do that.
Right.
So I wanted to move to that. So I was supposed to move in August 2019,
Mm.
right? And then there was some restructuring in PwC, and that team which I interviewed with, that was dissolved.
Mm.
So they rescinded my offer. So I had to interview again. Now this time I interviewed again with the PwC Audit UK. So I interviewed
And
again. I
and
got a
when was your last day in United States? Like when was the
yeah.
expiry date?
Last day was June 30,
Okay. And so all of this you were
2019.
2019. And
Yeah.
so all of this you were doing it while you were in UK, or
No, no, no. All of this I was doing while I was working for PwC US. So the first round of interviews I did when I was working for PwC US. I was doing my full time job, but at the same time I was talking to partners and stuff like
yeah.
that, interviewing.
Okay.
So my goal was once I leave US in June, July, I'll go to India for a month, and August May I'll join apna PwC UK. That was my goal. But again, that felt fall off. So I had to re-interview. And at this time I'd left US. I was in India now. Uh,
Oh, got it.
and I had all these
So
travel
okay,
plans and everything.
that makes sense because you said you were interviewing in August, and I was like, how were you in US?
Yeah.
So, but you were in
Yeah.
India. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
yeah. Then I came back to India, and then I had these travel plans because 1 month ka break tha as per my initial plan. So I was traveling to Europe and stuff, and then now
Hmm.
I'm traveling plus I have to interview again, right? So I interviewed again till December while I was in India. I got the job again in December. I was supposed to join in April 2020, and then March, May, COVID happened.
Oh,
So again, that got
wow.
cancelled. And then UK ka visa, we can talk about that as well. The way UK visa works is once you, first of all, like other than US, the way UK visa works is it is dependent on the company. Like the company needs to sponsor you. Your visa is attached to the company. So if the
Is
company
it?
is
I mean,
sponsoring,
that's how US visa work, right? Like for H1B, the company has to sponsor you over here as well.
right, but here I can okay, yeah, similar to that. Basically, you can switch sponsorship as well. Okay, fair. Yeah, but in US, can you apply for H1B? You cannot apply without a company, right?
No,
Even if you're in India, right? Okay, yeah,
correct.
yeah, fair. Yeah, so it's similar to US, but so there are two visas here. One is general visa and one is intercompany visa.
Hmm.
General visa, you can switch companies.
Okay.
So even when you are in UK, if you find a better job, right, and if you want to apply for that job, the company, if they accept you, they will take on your sponsorship and then you will move. This is similar to US, right? There is another visa called intercompany transfer visa. So if you're working for PwC US and
Hmm.
then you, while working for them, you decide to move to UK, you will come on intercompany transfer visa.
Hmm.
In that, if you decide to switch companies, you have to leave UK.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So in that, so I was supposed to come on ICT, like the intercompany visa. It did not work out because of my offer not being going through, and that was a lucky thing to happen to me because I would have otherwise come on ICT. Because I had to go back to India, they put me on a general visa, and then like based on general visa I can now switch companies if I want to,
Hmm.
plus I can work on side projects
Okay. So,
to earn
okay.
other income.
Got it. So in UK you can do that. Like
Yeah,
in US you are not supposed to do anything other than work for your company who sponsored your H1B.
yeah.
But in UK you can become an Uber driver if you want to.
Yeah, it is based on this thing called certificate of sponsorship, and I personally liked the way the UK visa process works.
I
Here they are
know.
just nice. They just want, like, they are welcoming. They talk, like when I was entering, they were like, "Hey, how are you doing? Are you entering? Like where are you going to live and all that stuff." So that way it's very nice, I felt. And then even the PR process, right? In US, you how long do you take to get a green card?
Oh
15, 12 years?
man, long, very long. Yeah, I mean, if you're going through employment-based green card, yeah, it's super long. Like I've seen people not having it for at least 15, 20 years because it's just forever. I mean, there's so much backlog that there are people who are waiting, since last
Yeah,
10 years, 20 years maybe. So yeah, that's the. But if you are going through family base, which is what I'm going through, that's a little different. That's
different.
quicker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So here it's like oh shit, we went on a tangent. Like I just remembered why I started this topic, but okay, I'll just finish this and then go back. Okay,
Yeah.
so here it's like after what do you call, you get 3 years ka visa, general visa. After that you keep extending with the company if they are ready to extend your visa.
How
After
long can you do
5,
that? Like you do
you
that?
can
Keep.
just keep extending, but
Okay.
after 5 years, if you met all the criterias, like you have to stay in the country for 180 days, you know English and all that. So after 5 years, if you met all those criterias, you can apply for something called ILR, which is similar to PR.
Hmm.
ILR means indefinite leave to remain.
Okay.
So after 5 years you can just apply for that. You will need a company sponsorship, and then like that's it. Then you have permanent residency in the UK.
And then do you have to stay with that company or you can switch it?
No, you can switch.
Okay.
So that way, like, I like that because it's just 5 years
And
permanent.
even what about your work visa? Like, is your work visa tied? I mean, I know it's tied to the company, but if you want to switch from PwC to Google, Facebook, whatever.
So that's what I'm saying, like general visa, right? So the visa is dependent on the COS, which is certificate of sponsorship. So if I interview for Google, they are like, okay, we like your profile, we'll take over your certificate of sponsorship. So
Okay.
they will
So
now sponsor
same,
my
very
visa.
similar,
Yeah,
right? Okay.
yeah. But the switching, it's a lot easier here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because over here you still have to go through the approval process of H1B
Yeah,
again. Yeah.
yeah.
Got it.
Here, like in US, I think the whole immigration is dependent on the government.
Hmm.
Here, the immigration is dependent on the company. So if the company says we are ready to take this employee and the risk of that employee, we are going to pay him this much. Like if they have met all the minimum requirements, then the government doesn't come into picture. So I did not interview for my visa. Like when
Hmm.
you're going to US, you have to interview for visa, right? I did
Right.
not interview for my visa. I
Oh, so
just
it's
I just gave them my application
all the
form and my
documents and
certificate of sponsorship, and then that's it. They just stamped my visa on my passport.
on arrival or before that.
So here that's why I went on this tangent, right? So the way the visa works here is when you get your visa, they give you a 30-day entrance vignette.
Hmm.
So using that vignette, you can enter the country, and then your 3 year ka visa card, it's in the post office. So you just go and collect that once you enter
Oh.
the country. Now, in my case, because I was supposed to fly in on April,
Hmm.
I got my visa in March, and I was supposed to fly in first week of April. Then the travel ban happened, so my 30-day ka vignette, right, the entrance visa, that expired.
Oh.
So now I cannot end. I My actual visa is in UK, which is valid, but my entrance visa has expired. So I could not, and all the embassies got shut and all that. So I had to wait for 6 months. So till September, till August, I was waiting for the embassies to open. Then I got my stamp for the entrance, and then I flied in September, and I was able to collect my actual visa
So,
card from here
okay, and that was this September, like
this
2020.
September 2020.
Okay.
So in all, I was unemployed for 14 months. Yeah,
14 months.
yeah,
Wow. So, right,
yeah,
because you left June, July 2019, and then obviously you couldn't work until then. But luckily,
yeah.
you still had a job. Like they didn't, take away your job.
Yeah, but yeah, I had the job, like I had my visa and everything, but like, you are always in that constant fear, like what if they just cancel my
Correct.
offer? Like
Yeah,
what will
yeah.
I do in life? I'll have to work in India now. And plus when you're living in India after living in US, it's so difficult because like when you step down, so like all these mental demons, right? Like when you step down, like people ask you, hey, what's your salary? Hey, where are you working? You're still not working. Why are you not working? All that comes into picture. It's so difficult, and I did not realize like all those things will add, like they keep adding up on you, like it
Yeah.
keeps building. Like, oh, 28 साल का लड़का घर पे बैठा है. Right, so yeah,
Yeah.
that all that comes into picture.
Yeah, yeah, we definitely have to bring you back. Like at least because there's a lot more I want to talk about, but I know this episode is already like an hour long. So
Oh no.
uh, I know, like that's what I said. Like before even we started, is like sometimes I like to keep it 20 minutes, but
Yeah,
the story is so interesting and engaging. I don't mind. So
yeah,
anyway, but that's an interesting journey, man. I like you've gone through a lot, and I would be scared, like if that happened with me, like 14 months, no job. Like I don't know,
I was scared. Yeah.
yeah, that's a very stressful period. What advices, what tips would you give throughout your all of these experiences for students who are planning to come or students who are in United States? Any words of
Oh,
wisdom?
oh, there are so many. Wow. Okay, for people who want to come to US, I think it's a great opportunity. You learn so much. Like I can't even put into words how much I've learned about so many different things about living alone, money management, experience, like everything. When you add it up, like my whole personality has changed since I've moved to US, and
Yeah,
it is a big deal. I don't know if online classes can can do justice to that, but like when you do it
yeah,
like in person, it's completely different. You grow so
totally,
much. So
totally.
if you're considering abroad, like not just US but abroad anywhere, just do it because it's a great experience to have.
Yeah.
you learn how to live alone and stuff like that. For jobs, like I said all the things that I wanted to. Don't go wide. Do focus on things that you want to do.
Hmm.
uh like Focus on your projects, the 10,000 iterations instead of 10, like what can you do for them rather than what can you do in general. That is a great piece of advice. And then yeah, once in your company, then just do your best, I guess. And then, like, if you face an issue, like me, hope no one does. I really hope no one does. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, then in that case, that quote from Obstacle is the Way. Anything that impediments your progress, it will action your progress. What will stand in your way will become the way.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's where I will
But
end. Yeah.
also, like, I think you've made, I'm guessing that you've made great connections at your company who was willing, who were willing to actually help you go out of their way and kind of connect you with other partners offering you. Not sure everybody gets that opportunity. Maybe they do, but that is another thing which I ask people is like make relationships, like build relationships.
Oh, definitely. Like I was some of my best friends are in PwC. Like they work for New York now. They've
Yeah,
moved away, but like most of them in New York were from PwC.
yeah.
Again, the firm, like the people they hire, it's amazing. And yeah, like if you're doing your best, if you're not being like a jerk to your bosses or your colleagues, right, then like they people are good in nature in general. Like everyone wants to help others, right? Like no one wants to see you suffer.
Right.
So if you do your best, they will do the best for you.
Yeah, yeah. I totally resonate with a lot of your experience because same thing happened with me as well. Like I'm not the same person who I was 7 years back when I was in India. Super shy, couldn't speak in front of people. My English was horrible. It's still horrible, but it was like way horrible than this. So you can imagine. But the whole experience over here builds you so much stronger, independent. Overall, it grows your personality. So I 100% agree. And everything you said for your job search and strategy, all agreed. And I want to bring you back to talk so much more of different areas in life. Thank you again, man, for doing this. Really means a lot. It was awesome. I'm like I said before that this was my favorite podcast. Like we talked so much and I learned so much about it. So thank you for doing this. Really means a lot. Until our next one.
Keep smiling and keep hustling.